Welcome back to the Robert Stone Club channel. Today, we're putting on our digital forensic gloves to deconstruct the largest, most sophisticated crypto heist in recorded history. This wasn't your run-of-the-mill smash and grab. No, this was a tense, highly orchestrated intelligence operation that completely stripped away the foundational trust of the very tools the entire industry relies on. We're going to break down the anatomy of a heist that stole over $1 billion. And they didn't do it by kicking down the front door. They did it by creating a flawless digital illusion.
So let's dive into part one, the billion-dollar illusion. You know, when we think of a hack, we usually picture a brute force attack on a server, right? Or maybe a careless employee falling for a phishing scam and losing a password. But this was far more insidious. This was a professional, highly targeted supply chain intelligence operation aimed squarely at the infrastructure that crypto veterans trust every single day. On February 21, 2025, a trap that had been quietly laid was finally sprung. In a matter of moments, 401,347 Ethereum was drained from a multi-signature wallet belonging to the global exchange Bybit. We are literally talking about $1.5 billion vanishing into the digital ether. It's the largest single crypto theft on record, and let me tell you, it sent absolute shockwaves through the industry.
Moving on to part two, the anatomy of the hack. Let's deconstruct exactly how these attackers infiltrated the digital infrastructure.
Okay, so here's the blueprint of the attack, which was uncovered by the security firm Signia. The crazy thing is, it didn't even start at Bybit. Step 1. Back on February 4, 2025, the attackers compromised the work computer of a developer over its Safe Wallet. Now, if you're in crypto, you already know Safe Wallet. It's the gold standard multi-signature platform used by all the institutional players. Step 2. They poisoned the well. They didn't try to steal private keys. Instead, they actually modified the JavaScript code on the server hosting the official SafeWallet web app. Basically, they corrupted the interface Bybit used to manage its treasury. And that brings us to step 3, the illusion. When Bybit's team went to make a totally routine internal transfer, the website they saw looked perfectly normal. It showed their own wallets, the correct amounts, the standard approval process. But step 4, that was the switch. When the authorized signers clicked approve, the hidden, malicious code swapped the destination right behind the scenes. The signature they provided was actually authorizing a transaction that transferred total ownership of the wallet straight to the attackers. If you're finding this autopsy fascinating, hit subscribe and drop a like for more crypto investigations like this one. Now, getting back to it. The most terrifying part of this entire ordeal is that the victims actually did everything correctly. They followed their strict internal protocols, they used multi-signature approvals, and they read the screen. But the screen itself was lying. The interface they trusted had been weaponized against them, creating a perfect illusion.
Section 3. The escape and attribution. Let's track the ghosts who actually pulled this off. So, the trap was sprung, and the money was gone. But time was absolutely of the essence. Once they acted on February 21st, the attackers had to move fast before the network could react. They executed a rapid escape, draining the funds and immediately kicking off the laundering process. Within just the first 48 hours, they successfully washed at least $160 million through the crypto mixer Tornado Cash. They split the funds into 28 separate deposits just to completely obscure their digital trail. It was an absolute sprint to the shadows. But who actually did this? The attribution here gets kind of complex, so let's be very precise about who is claiming what. According to their public statements, the FBI has explicitly attributed this hack to the Traitor Cluster, which is a group they link to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea or the DPRK. On the other hand, Bybit has mounted its own legal counteroffensive. In their court filing, Bybit explicitly names the DPRK's Reconnaissance General Bureau or the RGB and the infamous Lazarus Group as the culprits.
Which brings us to Section 4, suing a nation-state. Despite this massive $1.5 billion hole, Bybit immediately stepped up. They used corporate reserves to fully replenish their hot wallets within days so no customer funds were lost, and then they went straight on the legal offensive. On August 7, 2026, Bybit filed a civil lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. Through this civil claim, they secured a preliminary injunction to freeze identified assets. However, it is absolutely crucial to state clearly here that this is a civil claim and nothing has been proven in court yet.
But you know, despite the massive head start the attackers had, the blockchain never forgets. Through some seriously coordinated industry efforts between Tether, Circle, Thorchain, and multiple exchanges, over $42 million was frozen. The ETH protocol recovered another $43 million. Bybit even paid out $4.3 million in bounties to blockchain investigators. And the result of all that? According to Bybit's CEO, nearly 89% of the stolen funds still remain traceable on-chain. The walls are slowly closing in.
Now for Section 5, the security playbook. It's time to arm yourself with the smart money defense.
Look, if multi-billion-dollar exchanges can get hit, you need to know how to protect yourself. First off, you have to know the red flags in decentralized environments. Never, ever grant unverified contracts unlimited permission to spend your tokens. Always edit those permission limits. Be highly skeptical of anonymous teams. Honestly, anonymity is the ultimate exit strategy for a scammer executing a rug pull. Watch out for highly concentrated token distribution where founders can just crash the price. Look for unlocked liquidity pools, and definitely beware of projects where the hype and marketing completely outweigh the actual technological substance.
The crucial point to remember here is professional paranoia. Experienced funds treat security as a strict, non-negotiable process. This means always using hardware wallets to keep your keys offline. It means never clicking links in social media. Use your own verified bookmarks instead. Practice asset segregation by using isolated burner wallets for untested apps. So if one gets compromised, the damage is totally contained. And make it a habit to periodically revoke permissions using tools like revoke.cash just to clean up who has access to your assets.
We really have to confront the psychological horror of this heist. The Bybit team did everything right, but they were betrayed by the very tool they used to manage their wealth. It begs a terrifying question, doesn't it? If you can't trust the interface you use every single day, how do you survive in this ecosystem? How do you know your screen isn't lying to you right now?
Well, the answer lies in the ultimate lesson of this explainer. The private keys were never hacked. The user interface was. The signers approved exactly what their screen showed them. The compromise was in the interface, not the keys, which is why you must always verify the raw transaction data before signing. Check the destination address, check the hex data, and trust the cryptography over the graphics. Because in this digital frontier, the greatest illusions are the ones that look exactly like the truth. The interface you use every day could be lying to you right now. So, are you ready to verify the raw truth for yourself?